Hey there again, guys. My name is Ben Ferraiuolo, and I'm a beginner amateur seismologist who hopes to make a career out of monitoring volcanic and tectonic hazard areas. Please visit my website for many things, including how to quickly analyze seismic data, and it also contains my seismoblog. There's a link to my website below in the description box, right under my email address. I am also thinking about adding a real seismic events page showing just data only on specific events, like, seismogram, spectrogram, spectral plots of many different types of events. I think I might even make a dedicated Steamboat page showing all the seismic traces Steamboat has produced in 2018 and how large they were. Now, I know that I just made a video, but there is some definite swarming going on. You could tell, you don't even have to press on the helicopters to even look at that. You can obviously see the swarm going on here, showing up on multiple surrounding seismic stations. Now, this swarm seems like it is occurring somewhere in the Norris area, possibly just west of Steamboat Geyser. But why don't we just analyze this swarm real quick? Now we're just going to look at this just real fast. Don't worry, we'll actually get to the data in just a second, but I just want to show an overview. It was a rapid succession swarm. Look at that. Usually we see these type of swarms occurring down near the West Thumb Geyser Basin and West Thumb Lake. That's where we see a lot of rapid succession earthquake swarms. Personally, I have never seen really any rapid succession swarms occurring outside of the West Thumb area, but now I have. This is definitely occurring somewhere near Norris. We'll look at the data in just a second. Real quick, before we look at the seismic data, I just want to show you the recent GPS deformation charts for the Norris area. There are two places you can get it. You can go to volcanoes.usgs.gov. Go to the volcano you want, click monitoring, and they should show you all the stations, and you can edit what stations you see on there. But you can also go to UNAVCO.org and go to instrumentation and go to network monitoring. And then you click NRWY, and you can see all the different GPS plots, but here we see time series plot viewer. Let's look at the nearby GPS plots for a second. Now, the one I really want to be focusing on is this one right here, NRWY, but they do have some other ones, HVWY, which is just north or northeast of Yellowstone Lake, very close to Yellowstone Lake. And we also see the same pattern here on LKWY, which you know where LKWY is. That's on the northern tip of Yellowstone Lake. WLWY showing the same type of uplift pattern over there. Same with OFW2, which is at the Old Faithful Geyser. And WLWY is, I think that one's between Old Faithful Geyser and Yellowstone Lake. And these other two, let's not focus on those right now. Okay, so what I wanted to focus on was this one right here, NRWY. Why won't it let me? Okay, let me see if I can open this in a new tab. Can I do that? Will it let me? Yes, it does. Okay, so here we go. NRWY here is the deformation charts. As you can see, height, which means this is vertical. This is uplift subsidence. The middle chart is east-west deformation, horizontal deformation. And the top is north-south horizontal deformation. Now I want you to notice there is uplift going on again. I don't know if it's currently going down or not. Looks like it has paused a little bit. But if uplift is continuing, then that would explain the earthquake swarms. And you can see the years down here, 1996, 2004, 2006, 2018. And notice this spike right here. I'm going to say that's about, 2014? We also saw a spike upwards on the east. So that means this one was going east. And we see a downward spike here. So this means this was going southeast. Notice how this is north-south, horizontal deformation. A downwards dip would be towards the south. Upwards dip on here would be towards the east, and upwards we see right here. So it's southeast oriented uplift, which means the ground rose upwards while it was trying to move towards the southeast, which is actually coincidentally towards Yellowstone Lake. Now notice every time there's uplift, notice there's a jagged edge right here, and a downwards edge right there. Another uplift towards the southeast. Do you notice that? And now let's look at this one, which is right here as well, Doesn't it almost seem like every single time there's uplift at Norris, the ground also moves towards the southeast? Isn't that weird? I found that very odd, especially now. Look at now. And then, actually, I can't even tell right now. Look at that. That's weird. Maybe the ground isn't moving towards the southeast this time, but it did the past 3 times. Right here, and right here. The ground moved upwards, again, to the southeast. Now let's just go back real quick. HVWY. Yeah, I'll cover these in my monthly volcano update that I will do for November when November's over. So could this swarm and the recent Steamboat eruptions be connected to the uplift sequence? Well, let's take a look at the seismic data from the surrounding stations of today's earthquake swarm. So since we see the swarm picked up the strongest on YNR, borehole 950, and YHH, we will use those surrounding stations. I will also use, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will also use YPM and YML. So why don't we go over here and do that just real quick. That is not what I wanted. I don't know how that happened. Okay, let's go to WY, YHH, 01, EHZ. Let's just do for the past day. So 2018-11- let's see, 1219. So that'd be 2019 right now. So let's just do 2030 just to top it off. So that'd be the 22nd at 2030, 2030, 00. And then let's do this one, 2018-11-23, if it'll let me. Man, my computer is very slow today. 2030, 00. Alright, we got that. Now let's click this link right here to download the data. Remember, I was going to use YPM and YML as well. Let's use YPM. Download this data for YPM. Download the data for YML. Right there. And then we got to do borehole 950. Remember, we're going to do B950. -- EHZ. There we go. Download the data for borehole 950. And since YNR. Now, YNR. This one is a broadband station. So instead, we're going to use the time series URL builder, which is kind of like the data select builder. And these are all connected to the archive, guys. This is all archive data. Now, I mainly like to use the data select URL builder because it's quicker and it's much easier to use. But this, I still do use this if I want to add a high pass filter to broadband channels. And when I want to do seismic audio as well, which you can do with the time series URL builder. That is how I am able to show you the audio for many harmonic tremor sequences that I have shown in many previous videos. Alright, so 23, let's do 2030. There we go, 0.8 high pass filter, WYYNR01HHZ. We got that down good. Alright, now let's download it real quick. And press OK. And it's downloaded. Here we are in the seismic program waves, just to see which station saw this swarm the best, which one saw the arrivals first. We are going to open the files that we just downloaded, if it'll let me. Let's see, I downloaded, let's see, 23, there's 4 of them, right? Nope, there's 5. So there's 4 from the data select, and then there is 1 right over here, right there. Control, do that, select files or folders, and then it'll take a second to load. And here we are, it finally loaded. So why don't we zoom in on some of these earthquakes real quick. Let's take a look at this one real fast. Alright, let's see, which station did it show up on first? YHH. Okay, look at that. Do you notice when I zoom in that these are called the P waves? This is a P wave, the beginning of the P wave arrival, right there. The beginning, and let me mark that just to show you there. Now that's marked. The beginning of the P wave arrival is right there. The beginning of the P wave arrival is right there. And the beginning of the P wave arrival, which shows an opposite arrival, an upwards spike instead of a downwards dip like we saw on all the other stations. Let's mark that as a P wave, and let's mark that as a P wave. Now, looking at the P waves only, I'm not trying to deduct the exact location. I'm trying to deduct which station did it appear closest to, and how did it propagate away from the source to all the rest of the stations. Take a look. YHH obviously shows it arrived first. It arrived second on borehole 915 YNR. Of course, it showed on B915 YNR at the same time. So this is happening. Let me go over here. Let me kind of show you. It's happening right here. Possibly in the western section of the Norris Geyser Basin, or possibly beyond the Norris Geyser Basin, a little bit farther to the west. But it did appear on YHH first. So YHH saw this event the closest. Let's go back. Now let's real quick take a look at all the other earthquakes that occurred in the sequence. Let's keep going forward. Where'd the swarm go? Let's see. Did these appear on YHH first as well? Let's check it out. Let's use this quake right here. Alright, yes it did. It appeared on YHH first as well, and YNR and B950 third. And all the rest of the stations felt it last. So, this is just west of Norris Geyser Basin. Very interesting spot for an earthquake swarm, guys. Very, very interesting spot. So now we know the location that this is occurring. And let me try to see the exact time of the rapid succession. Let's see, 1630, so that's about 1625 to about 1637. That's a lot of earthquakes to happen within just what? Maybe 30 minutes? Less than 30 minutes, actually. Let's go there. Let's check this out real quick. Sorry, guys, you're going to have to bear with me. It's a lot of data to go through. A lot of data. Come on, buddy. What is it? 1625. Here is the largest quake. Right here. There might have been other larger ones, and again, it shows on YHH first. Notice that. Very interesting. Let's go forward. Here is the rapid succession event. Occurred at YHH first. Borehole 950 and YNR second. Alright, let's keep going. Yep, they all showed up on YHH first. Okay, so we know where this swarm is occurring. We can just click out of this now. Now, let's go to swarm real quick. And let's open, let me close these files. Okay, so let's open file. Let's open the files that we downloaded. The last four, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bear with me, guys, just for 1 second. And it's this one right here. Let's open that. Now remember, I'm going to use YHH because YHH is the one that saw this event the best. But I am going to use YNR first, just real quick. And let's turn off persistent rescaling. We already have a 0.8 Hz high-pass filter added to YNR, so we do not need to add one right here. Alright, here's the largest quake so far, I believe. Yeah, I believe these two quakes are probably the same size. But let's check this out. Let's go to the spectrogram. Yeah, high frequency, guys. High frequency. No LF events detected. We got a bit of a weird, I don't know what to call that, tremor, but it is showing up on surrounding stations too. And I'll show that on YHH in just a second. Very interesting. Look at that. Man, very, very rapid, guys. Very rapid. Another high-frequency quake, high-frequency, high-frequency. So I am not seeing any low-frequency earthquakes, which, you know, that doesn't mean too much, but I'm glad we're not seeing low-frequency earthquakes right now. That is a good sign. Okay. And remember, there was a little bit of a swarm going on during the Steamboat eruption the other day, and it did look like the arrivals were around the same area as this. So I believe this is connected to the swarm that occurred during the last Steamboat eruption yesterday, I think it was, or the day before. Yeah, check that out. Oh, what am I doing? I almost forgot to zoom in on this, so let's redo this real quick. We got two quakes up there. We got another one here, another one here. They all pretty much have high-frequency characteristics. Let's go down here, and no background tremor. I am not detecting any type of background tremor whatsoever, which is a very good sign. I'm glad that there is none. So we got two quakes right there. Another quake, another quake. Let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Here's one of the largest quakes of this current swarm. And here are the waveforms for this, I don't even know what to call it. Tremor? Vibration? I really don't know what to call this, guys. It does have some high-frequency earthquakes in the midst, but it seems to build, which is very odd. And some of these events are very emergent, meaning that they slowly build. And yeah, multiple events. How many events is that? Let's see. Let's use the spectrogram. Sometimes the spectrogram is better for looking at how many events there are. Or you could just use the program waves. 1, 2, that lasted really long. 3, 4, 5 maybe? Maybe 5? 6? Definitely 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12, and maybe some other microquakes. So maybe 15 max. 15 microquakes max within, let's see, 1636, 1630, within about 5 to 6 minutes. So that is pretty quick. That's almost exactly what we see at the West Thumb Geyser Basin. And, and here is the high-frequency earthquake, one of the stronger ones. Let's see which one's stronger. I believe this one was stronger, but it is very close. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, 8. Within about, let's say 5 minutes or so. So about the same time period. Now let's real quick go to YHH. Alright, it is showing the same swarm here as well. Now let's do persistent rescale off. That is okay. We see the strongest earthquake right here, and the second strongest quake right here. And we do have that rapid succession event right here. Multiple earthquakes happening and some of them were very small. Look at this, 200 amplitude count, guys. Very tiny. These events right at the end were very, very, very small. But still, they still were earthquakes, and they still showed a few miles away, so... And, yeah. So we do have an earthquake swarm going on near Norris, guys, but it is appearing closer to YHH, making me think that it is just west of the Norris Geyser Basin. Could this be connected to the recent uplift changes and the recent Steamboat geyser eruptions? Who knows? So here we are at the MBMG MTech site. That shows the recent helicopters. Whoops, I did not want to do that. Okay, let's check this out, guys. Check this out. Alright, so here I am at RLMT LPZ, which is in the ANSS network, the US network. Alright, let's go down. On November 22nd, 2018, at about 10 UTC, we saw a very large increase in background tremor, or background vibrations. I do not know what this could be. Remember, I talked about this in a few past videos, and on my blog post too, and this is one of the first seismic events that really intrigued me when I first started my YouTube channel last year. And a very strong event just like this occurred last year, around November 25th, I think, or was it the 28th? Either November 25th or 28th of 2017, last year, did see this event. And also, just a few weeks ago, in late October, we saw this event occur as well, and I did report on that one. And just about less than a week ago, this event did happen, but it wasn't as strong. This one is the strongest one I have seen so far, by far. The strongest one I have ever seen. Now let's go to the current chart real quick. Oh my god, guys, that is very, very strong. Very strong, guys. Look at that. That is just mind-boggling how strong that is. And then it started to die down about 14 UTC, November 23rd, 2018. So it is over right now. Well, it's almost over. It's still occurring just barely, but it's pretty much over. Which one? Yep, short period vertical right here. Remember, this is filtered from a broadband station, so it does show lower frequencies. Notice at the beginning of the day, on the 22nd, not much activity. And as we go forward throughout the day, do you see that increase? There's that increase showing the same exact thing. Again, around 10 UTC, that's when it really starts to expand like crazy. And then you go to the 23rd, and looky right here, it's right here, and then it starts to decrease. Now let's go back. Now let's go look at another seismic station. Let's go to Bozeman, Montana, long period vertical for the 22nd. Of course, you can see the event perfectly right there. You can see an increase around the same exact time. Let me go to today, and you can see a decrease at about the same time. So that's another seismic station showing it. These are all in Montana. Let's go to a different state, why don't we? Let's go down to Rapid City, South Dakota. At the beginning of the day, you don't see much. Let's go through the day around 10 UTC. It starts to increase exponentially. And this is in South Dakota, guys. This is far away from Montana. Well, not too far away from Montana, but it definitely is some distance away. It is showing this as well. Let's go back. Let's look at the most recent. It is showing this as well, and is starting to decrease just like it showed on the surrounding seismic stations near Yellowstone. And whoops, let's go to Newport, Washington, which is in eastern Washington, I believe. Look at how it slowly increases throughout the day. Notice that. Newport, Washington did not feel this as strong, but still did see it. And look at this, that strange long distance vibration being felt so far on this data from Washington to Montana to South Dakota. So even right now, that's a long distance, guys. That's a very, very long distance. And then it's starting to decrease once again, just like on the other charts. So what could this be, guys? What could this be? I am not doing anything in depth right now about this. I just wanted to quickly show you. Yeah, look at that. Jet Montana is also showing it in the MB network too. On November 22nd, 2018, around 10 UTC, you see an increase in background activity. Notice the background activity is much higher at the end of the day than it is at the beginning of the day. And notice, now let's go to the 23rd, the most recent data, how it's very strong at the beginning of the day, and then it is now starting to die down. So, what is causing this? This is the second time this year, second or third time this year, that this has happened. This happened multiple times last year, and it is still puzzling, guys. I do not understand what could even cause this at all. And it usually has dominant frequencies around 0.1 hertz, can go a little bit higher, but the dominant frequencies are usually way below 1 hertz, which is very weird for any type of tremor at all. So I'm just going to throw my hands up in the air. I don't know. But I do want to show you something. I will do a video about this. Don't worry. I'm working on a video and a blog post about specifically this weird vibration. Why don't we just real quick go look at the tilt meters and see if it shows anything, because last time they did show an increase in activity. Let's go to 2. Where are you, buddy boy? There we go. Borehole 208 on Yellowstone Lake. Okay. So, remember I said about a little bit less than a week ago the other event happened? It was right here. It's not as big as this event, though. Look at how it's just starting to come in. Now, remember, I will download this tilt data a few days from now, because it's better when the event is in the middle of the page so that nothing gets cut off. Know what I mean? But look at this. You can already see the weird long-distance, quote-unquote, tremor appearing on the tilt meters at Yellowstone. Look at that. You can obviously see the increase right there. Now let's go down to the past 30 days. There's that other event in late October that I did a video and a blog post about. We also saw another event just a little bit less than a week ago, but it wasn't as big. And now we have another large event that I'm talking about right now. But we will wait and see what the tilt data shows us, because it increased very quick. Very quick, guys. Usually in the past, these strange, long-distance, low-frequency vibrations that can span thousands and thousands and show on seismographs thousands of miles away from Washington State to the state of Maine. Literally. What is it? Usually they have been emergent. Usually they have been slow building. This one started almost instantly. Let's go to Grant, borehole 944. See what this tilt meter shows us. If it's going to show anything. There we go. And as you can see, look right here, the newest data that is currently coming in. You can obviously see it right there. Big spike. Big spike in activity, guys. This was a big one. Whatever this vibration was, this one was the strongest ever that I have seen from 2017 and 2018. This is even bigger than the first event that I discovered in late November of last year. And that event was huge, guys. That one was huge. But the data is just starting to come in, so I will, of course, conduct an update once all the data has been retrieved. Let's go to borehole 950 and see what that says real quick. It's always good to have as many data sources as possible, guys. That is the best thing to do when you're trying to prove something. And as you can see on borehole 950 as well, look at that. Okay, so we know that this really is happening. This really shook the ground all over the country. Once again, you can see it right there. This is the event in late October that I did a video and blog post about. This one increased significantly, very quickly. What is causing this? If anybody has any guesses down below, please let me know. Now, some person put out a guess, and it actually made some sense, that these are caused by storms. Very strong storms and very large waves hitting the coast, which, as you know, ocean waves hitting the coast dead on, like straight on hitting the coast, does create some pretty strong microseisms. But these microseisms are showing up all the way across the country, guys. All the way across the country. On the opposite side of the country where they're not seeing many waves hitting the coast dead on. So what could this be? And plus, I looked at that paper, and there's actually a paper in, 1934, I think it was. I was talking about these ocean microseisms. Because they did have, or was it 1964? I'm just going to say 1964. I don't remember the exact year. But they said that they detected very strong microseisms appearing on their sensitive seismographs whenever there would be strong storms battering the coast with ocean waves. But, and I say a big but, They said that these microseisms were almost completely dissipated behind mountain ranges. But we obviously see on many seismic stations that are, quote-unquote, behind mountain ranges, you know, like to the east of a mountain range. Like, let's say, you know how it's shown up on our SSD, which is in South Dakota. Well, to the west of that, we have the mountain range that is Yellowstone. You know that area right there? And the Rocky Mountains. So if the microseisms were coming from the west coast, they should not really go past the Rocky Mountains much, but we actually see it almost enhance once it goes past the Rocky Mountains, which is very weird. And it shows very strong near Yellowstone, almost strongest near Yellowstone. But I don't think Yellowstone's causing this, guys. I think it's more like a way bigger event. I don't know the cause, I don't know why this is happening, but it is definitely not ocean waves. Or at least it's not just ocean waves, guys. But that theory was a really good one, though. It made some sense, especially when there has been some professional publications put out there about that. So, I don't know. I'm going to do more research about it. Of course, this is not the main topic I want to talk about in this video. I will do a whole video and blog post solely on this topic, and I will probably show some data from last year's event as well, so just keep an eye out for that. Here we are at earthquake.usgs.gov. Just wanted to see if they reported the earthquakes in Yellowstone yet. No, they did not. And today is Friday. Okay, today is Friday. Oh, they could be on break because of Thanksgiving, but still, they reported nothing. Really? Come on, guys. Come on. We have an obvious swarm going on. I mean, look at some of these earthquakes, guys. You tell me that's not a swarm? That's obviously a swarm. And those are obviously earthquakes with very definitive P and S wave arrivals. Very interesting P and S wave arrivals, actually. So, yeah, I don't know why they're not reporting it. I don't know. I guess we just shrug. Man, what a winter wonderland. It looks beautiful there, man. I miss snow so much. And is it just me, or does it look like there's no snow right there? That's weird. Pretty sure there should be snow right there, too. On that little field. Huh. Maybe it's too hot over there, because snow never likes to stick right here. So we do have an interesting swarm occurring possibly near the western portion of Norris Geyser Basin. Now, could this be connected to the Steamboat eruptions and the recent southeast-oriented uplift? Could be. Also, it seems like that weird tremor has reappeared once again. I don't think it is an actual tremor, but what the heck could it be? This was so far the strongest one I have ever seen. Even stronger than the November 2017 event, and that was the first event of its kind that I noticed last year. But this one that is occurring now is absolutely strong, and it's pretty crazy. I will try again to do a video solely on that in the coming days once more data comes in. Steamboat, as stated in my previous video, has erupted 28 times so far in 2018. It must erupt 2 more times to beat the all-time record of 29 eruptions in 1 year, which occurred in 1964. It seems this swarm near Norris is not over yet, and it was full of intriguing events. Could a larger one be on the way? I have thought so for a couple months now, but I was more inclined to think that Yellowstone Lake would see the swarm, since that is the location of the last dike intrusion event at Yellowstone. Remember, if you want a link to that publication, please visit the description box below. I always fill the description box with a bunch of goodies, so don't worry. Also, if you want to learn very quickly how to do what I do every day, please visit my website. There are many pages on my site that serve as a sort of how-to section on seismology. Well, at least the very, very basic things of seismology, like finding and analyzing seismic data from the archive. And a link to my website is below in the description box right under my email address. Please also visit Scott's new channel, the NW Geology Guy. His channel is doing very well, and he just recently talked about the past volcanic activity in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Please feel free to comment below, check out his channel, the link is below. The truth is considered hate or fear to those who hate or fear the truth. God bless, guys, and please be safe out there. Ben Ferraiuolo signing off.